The hip-hop world did not erupt overnight, it really does. Instead, it shifted almost imperceptibly at first, like tension building beneath the surface before anyone fully recognizes the tremor. Conversations grew sharper. Timelines became noisier. Fans, critics, and commentators sensed that something was unfolding, something larger than a routine rumor cycle. At the center of the storm were two names that many believed represented stability, loyalty, and artistic credibility. Papoose and Remy made. What began as whispers soon transformed into a narrative powerful enough to dominate feeds and fuel debates. Across platforms, the controversy revolved around one of hip-hop's most sensitive subjects, ghostwriting. In a genre where authenticity is not merely admired but fiercely protected, even the suggestion of outside lyrical assistance can trigger intense reactions. Yet, this was not just about lyrics. It was about identity, reputation, and the fragile relationship between public perception and personal reality. To understand why the speculation generated such a frenzy, one must first consider the figures involved. Papoose has long been regarded as a lyricist, an artist celebrated for his technical precision, layered wordplay, and unmistakable voice. His career was built not on spectacle but on skill, on the belief that every bar reflected personal craftsmanship. His reputation carried weight precisely because it was anchored in perceived authenticity. Remy Ma, equally formidable in her own right, has carved a legacy defined by resilience and presence. Her journey through public challenges only strengthened her image as a powerhouse MC with both lyrical authority and emotional depth. Together, Papoose and Remy Ma represented more than a musical partnership. They symbolized loyalty, endurance, and a shared connection to hip-hop's cultural values. Then the rumors began. Fans started noticing subtle inconsistencies, or what they believed to be inconsistencies, in Papoose's recent work. Certain lines felt different. Some verses seemed unusually polished, while others lacked what listeners described as his familiar cadence or signature tone. In the digital age, perception quickly becomes evidence in the court of public opinion. Listeners replayed tracks, dissected lyrics, and compared flows, searching for clues that might validate or dismantle the emerging theory. Soon, the central question echoed across social media: could Papoose have used ghostwriters? In hip-hop, such an allegation carries implications far beyond artistic collaboration. It challenges the core of an artist's credibility. Authenticity in rap is intertwined with identity, integrity, and respect. To question authorship is, in many ways, to question the artist's entire narrative. Reactions were immediate and deeply polarized. Supporters defended Papoose with unwavering conviction. To them, the suggestion was not merely unlikely, it was inconceivable. They pointed to his history, his demonstrated lyrical ability, and his long-standing reputation. Others, however, leaned into skepticism. They scrutinized every syllable, every metaphor, every perceived deviation from his established style. Social media amplified the divide. Memes circulated rapidly, transforming speculation into entertainment. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. TikTok creators dissected verses line by line, while Twitter threads evolved into sprawling debates about authorship, creativity, and industry practices. What might once have remained an insider discussion had now become a global spectacle. Amid the escalating noise, Remy Ma's response became a focal point. Known for her composure and no-nonsense demeanor, she initially remained silent. Yet silence, particularly in an environment addicted to interpretation, is never neutral. Every post, every story, every subtle gesture was analyzed. Fans projected meaning onto absence. Was her quietness a strategic decision, a sign of solidarity, or an indication of underlying tension? Those who believed in the couple's unwavering loyalty framed her silence as strength. Others interpreted it as uncertainty. The narrative evolved not only around the allegations themselves, but around perceived emotional dynamics between the two artists. Then came 50 Cent. Few figures possess the ability to instantly magnify a controversy like he does. His involvement transformed an already volatile discussion into a cultural moment. With his characteristic blend of humor, provocation, and blunt commentary, 50 Cent entered the conversation, posting reactions that quickly became viral touch points. Suddenly, the debate expanded. It was no longer confined to ghostwriting. It became about personalities, influence, and the performative nature of online discourse. Every post ignited new threads. Every comment generated fresh interpretations. The controversy gained momentum not simply through facts or claims, but through engagement itself. What made the situation particularly explosive was not just the allegation, but the emotional ecosystem surrounding it. Anger, disbelief, loyalty, amusement, and disappointment collided in an online storm. Fans revisited old tracks, replaying verses in search of confirmation or contradiction. The scrutiny extended beyond Papoose. Remy Ma, too, faced relentless analysis. Could she have known? Should she have spoken? Was she being unfairly drawn into speculation fueled largely by perception? As the narrative intensified, broader conversations emerged. Ghostwriting, while controversial, is far from a simple topic. Some argued that collaboration has always existed in music, that creative processes are rarely isolated endeavors. Others insisted that hip-hop occupies a distinct cultural space, where lyrical authorship is deeply tied to authenticity and artistic legitimacy. These debates revealed a deeper tension within the industry. Modern music production often involves teams, contributors, and collaborative frameworks. Yet, hip-hop's foundational ethos continues to emphasize individual voice and personal expression. The friction between evolving industry norms and traditional cultural expectations became increasingly visible. Meanwhile, Papoose and Remy Ma faced an impossible balancing act. For Papoose, the allegations struck at something profoundly personal. They were not merely professional critiques, but perceived threats to identity. Every lyric questioned, every verse dissected, carried emotional weight. Reputation in hip-hop is not easily rebuilt once doubt takes root. For Remy Ma, the challenge was equally complex. Public support, professional caution, and personal loyalty exist within delicate equilibrium. In an environment where even minor gestures can be amplified into narratives, every decision, whether to speak, remain silent, or respond indirectly, becomes a calculated risk. Then came the fan wars. Online communities fractured into opposing camps. Defenders criticized skeptics. Critics challenged loyalists. Observers watched with detached fascination, consuming the drama as both cultural discourse and digital entertainment. Memes and commentary blurred the line between real-life consequences and algorithm-driven spectacle. The industry itself took notice. Colleagues and collaborators weighed in cautiously, aware of the volatility surrounding discussions of authenticity. Reputation remains one of hip-hop's most valuable currencies, and allegations tied to authorship inevitably trigger broader reflection within professional circles. Throughout this unfolding drama, 50 Cent's commentary continued to echo. Whether humorous, critical, or deliberately provocative, his presence sustained visibility. Each reaction reignited debate, illustrating the extraordinary power of influence in the age of social media. The controversy became as much about amplification as it was about the original claim. As days passed, the fallout became tangible. Interviews were dissected, appearances analyzed, fans debated loyalty and integrity. Collaborators reassessed associations. The viral storm demonstrated how swiftly speculation can reshape narratives, often long before facts are clarified. Yet amid the chaos, moments of reflection surfaced. Some fans began questioning the rush to judgment. Others acknowledged the humanity of the artists involved. Behind every viral headline are individuals navigating emotions, pressures, and consequences rarely visible through screens. The controversy illuminated broader truths. It highlighted the fragility of reputation, the volatility of online discourse, and the psychological toll of public scrutiny. It underscored how social media transforms perception into momentum, momentum into narrative, and narrative into perceived reality. Ultimately, the story transcended ghostwriting. It became a lens through which audiences examined authenticity, creativity, influence, and empathy. It revealed how quickly digital ecosystems convert uncertainty into certainty, speculation into belief. For observers, the lesson is both simple and profound. Viral moments are fragments, not full realities. What appears as scandal often masks layers of context, interpretation, and human complexity. The spectacle may entertain, but it also reflects our collective fascination with conflict and our tendency to judge based on incomplete information. And still, questions linger. Will clarity emerge? Will narrative shift? Will public perception evolve? In the ever-accelerating cycle of online discourse, certainty remains elusive. What remains undeniable, however, is the impact. The episode left an indelible mark, not only on the artists involved, but on the broader conversations surrounding authenticity in hip-hop. It stands as a reminder of how fame, credibility, and public perception exist within a precarious balance. And this is more than a controversy. It is a reflection of modern culture itself, of how we consume narratives, assign meaning, and engage with the lives of public figures. It is a story about perception, influence, and the human consequences of digital amplification. And as the discourse continues to evolve, one truth remains constant. Behind every debate, every meme, every headline, there are human beings navigating pressures that few outside the spotlight can fully comprehend.